And now to our analysis of tonight's debate. On the left of your screen, political analyst Brian Sobel, who is joining us tonight from Petaluma.
And on the right, James Taylor, a professor with the Department of Politics at the University of San Francisco. Thank you both for joining us tonight. James, let me begin with you. What was your headline tonight, and who did you think did well?
I thought Marco Rubio represented himself very well for a third consecutive debate. I think so far, to my surprise, he's been the total best debater in this entire presidential contest on both parties' campaigns.
And Brian, now to you. Leading up to this evening's debate, Donald Trump's numbers were actually slipping, and Ben Carson had taken the lead. Do you think Carson was able to hold his own tonight?
Not really, Julie. I think he didn't have a great night. I agree with the professor. Marco Rubio had a very good night. I thought Ted Cruz did well. Chris Christie did well, and John Kasich did well. But the other folks on the stage, mediocre performance.
Brian, I'm fascinated by Jeb Bush and how poorly he seems to be doing. And I was listening to an interview with Carl Bernstein tonight, and what he said is that Jeb Bush understands the issues. His problem is that he has trouble articulating them. Do you agree?
It seemed, yes. He has a hard time putting into words his thought process. Yeah, he's obviously a very bright guy, very accomplished guy, but he gets on stage and he's like a deer in the headlights, and it's really almost painful to watch.
And James, this was the focus of tonight was supposed to be on the economy. A lot of the candidates seem like they spent a lot of their time talking about a big, bad government. Do you think anyone really emerged tonight with any fresh ideas?
Yeah, no, there was even a bigger, badder media, and I thought this was an awful distraction. I think the postmortems on this debate will be that the candidates spent so much time attacking the media when there were some really substantive issues that once they got to talking about them, like John Kasich, even Christie on the environment, they would offer some really powerful analysis tonight. I actually thought they did a good job, the Republican candidates did, in terms of articulating their policy positions. So I think, you know, they did a good job overall. And I think Cruz, you know, did well for himself as well.
And James, I'll tell you, when they did attack the media, they got a big round of applause from the crowd there. I have to say, I was a little disappointed with the three people who were asking questions. It felt like at times they lost control of this debate, and there was a whole lot of talking over each other. It got very frustrated as a viewer. Yeah,
that was the case. And I think what needs to be, you know, this was out of the three major news organizations that have hosted these debates, CNN, Fox, and CNNBC. CNNBC certainly came out looking the worst in this case, but I think it's important to note part of the postmortem tomorrow, at some point people will begin to criticize Rubio and Cruz for their attacks on the media, particularly CNBC, when that is the place where the Tea Party was launched. And there's no institution more unpopular than the one they belong to, which is the U.S. Congress.
And we still have a very crowded field of Republicans looking ahead to the next GOP debate, which is November 10th. We're going to see things start to change. Let's go to Brian. Who do you think we're going to see start to drop out?
Well, first of all, Julie, they have to thin the herd. It was just chaos for the first 15, 20 minutes of the debate tonight, with people talking over each other, as Frank said. The Republicans have to get together and let a few people go. And it's tough because there's so much money involved. But the people who are riding the polls at 1% and 2%, they have to exit. And that's going to happen. And it's going to happen pretty soon, I would think.
Brian, how do you think Carly Fiorina did tonight?
Almost a non-player, really, Frank. I was disappointed from the standpoint that I really expected her to come out swinging. But again, when you have 10 people on the stage and all the moderators and all the confusion, it's really hard to stand out in that field. For example, Donald Trump tonight did not do well, did not stand out, did not have nearly the camera time that he's had in the past. And it was just a tough place to try to get your message out.
All right, Brian Sobel, James Taylor, gentlemen, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.